Hi everyone, welcome to the BoldSign API tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to implement collaborative field editing using the BoldSign Node.js SDK. By the end of this video, you'll learn what collaborative fields are, why they're useful in real-world workflows, and how to configure them using the API. Supported field types include text box, checkbox, radio button, drop-down, and editable date. In a contract workflow, a client fills in details like their name and pricing, then signs. A legal reviewer then reviews the same fields, makes corrections if needed, and signs using collaborative fields. Both participants can work on the same fields, ensuring accuracy, agreement, and compliance before finalizing the document. Now let me show you how to do this. First, make sure you have Node version 12 or higher installed. Next, install the BoldSign Node.js SDK by running npm install BoldSign in your terminal. Since I've already installed it, I'll confirm by running npm list BoldSign. As you can see, the package is installed and ready to go. Here, I already have a sample BoldSign Node.js code for sending a document for signing. Now, I'm going to demonstrate how to use collaborative fields while sending the document. In my scenario, the sales team needs to send a document to both the client and the legal reviewer. Both the client and the legal reviewer need to collaborate on a shared field and update its value. Let me show you how to do this. First, in the document API, I set the API key to connect with BoldSign services. If you haven't generated an API key yet, simply log into the BoldSign web app. Navigate to the API section, select API keys, and generate a new key. Next, I define the fields for my document. I start by setting the client's fields. First, I define the bounds for the signature field and set the field type to signature. Next, I define the bounds for the text box field and set the field type to text box. Now I define the text box field. First, I set the bounds to position it correctly in the document. Then I set the field type to text box. Since both the client and the legal reviewer need to collaborate on this field, I configure collaboration settings to manage the process. In the collaborative settings, I set these properties to true. Is required. This property specifies whether collaborative fields are mandatory for signers collaborating on the document. Require signer approval. This property specifies whether signers need to verify and approve the document after collaborators have made changes to the collaborative fields. Require initial. This property specifies whether the collaborators must fill in their initials when editing collaborative fields. Allowed signers. This property specifies the list of signer IDs who are allowed to collaborate on editing this field. I then assign the legal reviewer's ID, ensuring that only the selected signer can modify the shared field. You can restrict collaboration to specific signers or allow all signers. By default, the first signer is also treated as a collaborator. Next, I configure the client as the first signer. I configure the signer ID, which plays an important role in the collaboration workflow, as it is required when defining the allowed signers. I set the name and email address. Now for the legal signature field, I define the bounds and set the field type to signature. Next, I configure the legal reviewer as the second signer. I assign their ID, which is required for collaborative field access, and then set their name and email address. Even though the legal reviewer only has a signature field directly assigned, they can still collaborate on the pricing field because collaboration was enabled earlier. I then upload the document file. In the Send for Sign object, I set the title and include both the client and the legal team as signers. In the document API, I pass the Send for Sign object to the Send document method and log the document ID in the console. I then run the sample. Once successful, a document ID is returned, confirming that the document has been sent. Now let's switch to the signer side and see how both parties complete the document. First, the client receives an email to sign the document. I click Review and Sign, which takes me to the signing page. I accept the terms and conditions, then proceed. On the signing page, I fill in the required details. When I click on a collaborative field, a tooltip appears indicating that I am one of the collaborators for that field. I then fill in the required details and proceed to complete the signing process. Next, the legal reviewer receives the document. I click Review and Sign to open it. When I click on a collaborative field, a tooltip appears indicating that one of the collaborators has edited the field. I review the entered details, edit the pricing field, and add my initials when making changes. Since approval is required, I approve the updates and then sign the document. Because the pricing field requires approval, any modification automatically triggers an approval process before the document can proceed further. Once the legal reviewer approves the updated pricing, the client receives an email notification. The client is then directed back to the document and informed that a collaborator has made changes. To proceed, I click Continue, review the updates, add my initials to acknowledge the changes, and complete the signing process. After the signing process is complete, all recipients receive an email notification confirming that the document has been successfully signed, along with a copy of the final document and the audit trail attached. Please note, the following limitations apply when working with collaborative fields. Collaborative fields are not supported for single signer or self-signed documents. Collaborators cannot be in-person signers, group signers, or reviewers. Not compatible with documents using print and sign, fields with data sync tags, fields with conditional logic, and formula fields. That's it. You've learned how to use collaborative fields to allow multiple users to edit the same field, control approvals and changes, and keep workflows accurate and efficient. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe for more BoldSign API tutorials. Thank you for watching.